Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Hendo's Hot Topics. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're loving yourself. Hope you have an amazing week. Today we have Hayden Paddon. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Good to meet you.
Yeah, finally good to meet you. Appreciate you coming on. Now, what I'd love to start off with is it's called Hey. How are you doing in general? Be open and honest.
Geez, that's a very upfront question to
Yeah,
start with,
mate.
isn't it? So straight off it. No, it's good. Obviously, there's been a lot of challenges in the world over the last few years, but
Yeah, mate.
I've sort of lived a life of facing challenges, and right now we're very, very busy for myself and our team, and we've got a pretty
Yeah,
busy year this year. So whenever I'm busy, I'm in my happy place. So
love
no, it's good.
love that, mate. Now let's get straight into it. This perfect way to transition is overcoming challenges. Your life as a rally driver and growing up was a lot of challenges facing it, overcoming it, trying to divert it. How have you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, like a lot of sports or business, particularly rallying, there's a lot more lows and highs. So you learn, and you're always talking about experience in life, and particularly in our sport, experience in the sport. And with experience, you become a lot more, I guess, accustomed to how to deal with challenges. You
Mm,
almost sometimes expect challenges. When you're young and you're learning, a challenge can sort of take you back a bit while you learn how do you actually deal with these things. So for me, it's been quite simple. Rallying for me has never just been a sport; it's my life. So I've got no option but to find a way or to find a solution or whatever it is, because I've got nothing to go backwards to. I've got to keep going forward because, as I say, that's just the makeup of the person I am, and that's what I'm striving towards.
well, it's probably gone to the point now where you almost enjoy a challenge. You almost hope there's a challenge to face, eh?
Definitely, it's probably a little bit on the sad side, but I almost expect challenges now.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
there was that stage in my life where probably through my sporting career, there was about 8 years in a row where everything was going to plan. I had goals and I was
Mhm.
hitting goals every year, and everything was going very smoothly. And then all of a sudden, we had one particular year that went very bad. Everything went pear shaped, and it just came out of the blue, and it knocked my confidence, it knocked everything. But then after that, obviously the challenges and the obstacles were a lot more regular. And probably since then, you've learned to deal with them. You've learned to actually probably embrace them as well.
Yeah.
Um, you know, at the end of the day, if everything was easy, well, if things were easy, everyone would do it. That's what I tell myself, and things do get tough. So yeah, you thrive off a challenge once you learn to accept them, and then you use that to develop yourself and improve.
Yeah, love that. Now, that rough time, that 2017 kind of year was what I understand was quite a rough one, bit of an unexpected year. How, like you said, expect the challenge, you learn from the challenges and you keep powering forward. Was there a moment where you went, shit, this has all come at once. This is going to be a lot more difficult than I thought it might have been.
Yeah, no, certainly 17 was a pretty dark year. And to be honest, it probably too much did come at once. There was just
Yep.
so many things going on, both personally and professionally, and learning how to deal with that when, as I say, for so many years, been going quite smoothly. Not without challenges, of course.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as no challenges, but relatively smoothly. And then for all these life-changing events that happen in one year, and was definitely difficult to fathom why it was happening. And there was a couple of times I went away to just a quiet spot. I remember there was one week later in the year where I just got completely sick of all the online negativity and comments and everything. Like at the end of the day, as a sports person, your harshest critic is yourself. You
Yep.
don't need
Yep.
other people telling you if you're doing a good or bad job. So, I disappeared off the face of the earth for about a week. Cell phone was gone, everything, and I was just really some time just to dig deep in the soul and go, right, remember why we're actually doing this,
Yep.
and get the enjoyment factor back again.
That's interesting what you said there. Is how do you avoid getting stuck in that trap of you have the toxic media, you have the people who think they know what it's like walking in your shoes and think they know you behind the cameras and behind what they say on TV. How do you avoid getting trapped in fighting back with what people think they have the right to say around your life?
To be honest, I still don't really have the answer. Even nowadays, we still get a lot of, we have a lot of support, a lot of positivity,
Yeah.
but we still get a lot of negativity, and particularly nowadays, it's probably more focused around the EV project that we're building, because I'm a petrol head, and there's a lot of petrol heads are very diehard that EV is not what they like. But how you deal with it is trying to take it with a grain of salt. But that's much easier said than done. Nowadays, again, I expect the negativity, and you try and deal with it in a professional, way, if you like. At the end of the day, you don't want to be dragged into wars of words or anything like that, or be arguing any points. It's you know, social media is a very powerful thing. It's a double-edged sword. Like in our game, we need social media because it helps us keep people up to date. It helps us interact with fans and get them involved in what we're doing. And then obviously that's got the payback that our partners enjoy, having that access to fans and interaction. But then the other side of it is people have too much of a say nowadays. I remember even okay, I'm probably making myself feel old or sound old, but even only 10, 15 years ago, no one had a comment. People had opinions, but it kept to themselves. You didn't read about it online, and the world was a simpler place. So nowadays it's certainly more complicated and all that sort of manner. But how you deal with it, I actually just try not look. To be honest, that's the simplest way. Where if I know I'm going to get negative comments somewhere, I don't go there. I used to go look at forums and things like that. Now I've never looked at a forum for like 3 years, because if you just avoid reading it and you don't know about it, this goes back to what I say. Then you don't know what's going on, and then it doesn't harm you.
And when you get faced with those kind of comments and people's opinions, like you said before, you just got to remember why you're doing it. The why factor is, and the sole purpose you're doing this. And yeah, everyone can have their opinions and comments, but at the end of the day, you know why you're doing it, how it makes you feel, and that's the most important thing, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. You got nothing to prove to other people. Obviously in sport, you got to prove yourself to coaches and sponsors and things like that. But in terms of public perception, yeah, you want public support, but you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. At the end of the day, if you believe in what you're doing, you believe you're doing a good job, and believe you're doing the right thing, then you don't need to justify that to anyone. You just keep doing what you believe in, and give it everything.
Love that, mate. All right, so now 5-time New Zealand champ, 40 WRC stage victories, 8 times podium, and 1 WRC title winner. Question is, does it get any easier? All this experience
No.
of racing doesn't get any easier.
No, it gets harder. The expectations keep getting higher, so you always want more from yourself, but then you always get this target painted on your back as well, particularly here in New Zealand. So I've always enjoyed being the one that chases rather than the one that's being chased. But it's a good position to be in, I guess, if you are the one being chased as well. So you don't take that for granted. But motorsport is a very fickle sport, and the fact that if you're standing still, you're going backwards. So if we just rested on our laurels, go, that's okay, we're fast enough, and we won't do any car development, and I'll just get in the car and drive, we'll be left behind very, very quickly. So even when we are trying to still win all the time, you're always pushing for more from the car, more from myself, more from the team, and it's just this never-ending cycle of self-improvement. So but I love the challenge. Always looking for more challenges, always looking for new things. I get very bored of the status quo. So if I keep doing the same thing for too long, I get bored. So it's about, okay, what's the next challenge?
Stepping up yourself, eh?
Yeah, exactly. It's always pushing yourself. And that's why I love having our own team here in New Zealand. We're all on this for the same journey, and, we're all pushing each other forward. So rather than me just pushing myself, there's actually 8 of us now all pushing each other, because we all want to achieve the same thing.
Love that. Now, your book Driven, you released it a couple of years ago, but I really want to ask you now I've got you here. Was it more of an opportunity to get everything off your chest? Just chuck it all out in a book, get it off your mind, just put it all out there into the world. Like, what was the purpose and goal with releasing your book?
Yeah, it was really about trying to tell the story a little bit. In a way, motorsport is very much seen, particularly in the outside world, as a rich person's sport, and you only get there if you have a rich family, or pretty much things get handed to you on the plate. But my story was never like that. Yeah, I've been fortunate. I've had a lot of good support, and my father's obviously played a key role. But our family was never a wealthy family. Our family was always built on working hard. You work for what you get, or you get what you work for. Sorry. And it was about trying to tell that story, because even up until we sort of released that book, there was still a lot of people who said, "Oh no, you've just had a little easy, and you've just had it handed to you in place, and there's no point in us chasing our dreams in the sport or whatnot, because unless I have a rich father, then it's not possible." So it was really about portraying that story and portraying the challenges, because during my career, you don't talk about it. You're just focused on again yourself and the results and how you achieve those results. The story that was happening in the background stayed in the background. So it was really about sharing that to showcase that people were normal, had my difficulties at school like anyone else, had the difficulties in family, lots of challenges, lots of points in my life where I could have pulled the pin and just done things normally or whatnot, but it was never an option. So it was about portraying that if someone really dreams and really puts their mind to whatever they want to do in business, sport, or whatever, I think it's always achievable. Yourself is your only limitation. So
Yeah, I love that. Yourself is your only limitation. Love that. And that's a beautiful thing about your book, mate, is that you have been able to, people just see you as some people may just see you as a rally car driver. That the only time they see you is behind the wheel or on TV, and that's all they think you are. And that's what comes with the negative comments and opinions. They don't take the time to actually realize, actually, Hayden's had a life. He's more than just a driver. All that hard work and time he's put towards going and chasing WRC, the challenges he's faced, the moments he's had to find himself when his stuff has got a bit too heavy hearted and a bit heated. That's the defining point. So I think the really beautiful thing about your book, Driven, is that you've given that eye-opening moment to a lot of people. Oh, he actually is a human. Oh gosh, he isn't just someone who's a flying Kiwi and hits gravel tracks at 200k plus. Like he's not just a daredevil behind the wheel. He's actually a human, and it's amazing. I think it's big props to you as well, mate. And I when I was doing research about you, how you said it was quite hard for you to talk about a lot of the personal stuff in your story. So not just you putting it down on paper for people to read, but also you and yourself building enough confidence and courage to actually get that out onto paper is big props to you, mate. And I hope in a way that's helped you a lot with maybe some self-healing.
Yeah, it was obviously not something I normally do, talk about all that sort of stuff, but there was an opportunity for the book to come out and an opportunity to tell the story. And you don't often get opportunities, same not just for a book, but anything in life. Sometimes you might pass up on an opportunity thinking it's not the right time, but then the opportunity never comes again. So I'm always one for take them when they come, no matter whether it's the right or wrong time. So yeah, the book was that chance. And yeah, it was an interesting process to even just try and remember some of the story, as well as I was talking with Catherine, the person who did a great job writing the book. And it was cool just to see it all come together as well, though. So to see it, okay, it's obviously very, very condensed, and that's probably the difficult thing, is trying to condense 15 years into 300 pages. But no, it's pretty cool to see that come together.
Yeah, love that. What's next for Hayden? Where's the next steps for Hayden?
Well, now it's very much focused on our own team. Obviously, things didn't end the way that we would have liked to in the World Rally Championship. Just politics and contracts, and we had more to give, and that's probably what lit the fire to come back and go, right, we're going to do it ourselves this time. So, as I said to you earlier, rally's my life, and I've probably got hopefully another 50 years left of that sort of thing. So now we're setting up to do this with our own team, our own cars, our own projects, and we want to take our team around the world. So there's obviously some massive challenges, probably even more challenges now doing it with our own team versus when it was just me and John, my co-driver.
Yep.
Particularly on the financial side, but I believe in what we're doing. As I say, in the past, it was normally just me and my father and a couple of people around who had that belief. Well, now I've got 8 people in this business with that same belief. So more people, more heart, more soul, more belief from more people means I think we can go further. So yeah, pretty excited about where we go to now. Just got to be patient in this game, though. It doesn't happen overnight. Just got to keep chipping away and keep doing our best.
Keep that hard work, eh? Now, I want to hand it over to you, Hayden. It's your time. You can say whatever you want. It can be as long as you want. Maybe a piece of advice that's helped you, something that gets you up in the morning, a message you want to put out there. It could be anything.
Yeah, again, you put me on the spot there. Yeah, it's probably sort of summing up a few of the things that we just spoke about, but I mean, like, I'm a firm believer that if you believe in something firm enough that you want to achieve in any form of life or whatnot, no matter the challenges that you think you face, if you enjoy it, you're passionate about it, and you're enthusiastic about it and willing to work hard, but also willing to be patient as well. I think the world's anyone's oyster. A big factor is obviously you want to enjoy things, but there's too many people, especially in this world that we live in now, where everything's so quick and easy. So when it comes to life or success or whatnot, people want the quick and easy success, but it doesn't exist. So you got to put your heart and soul into it, and you got to be patient. And through that process, you're going to expect a lot of lows. You got to expect a lot of challenges. And the more that you fight through those and the more you overcome them, then the stronger you're going to become. And it makes the end goal feel even better once you do get there. So let's say I think anyone can achieve anything. Yeah, different sort of rates of that, if you like, in terms of what you're trying to achieve. But you just got to keep chipping away and believe in what you're doing.
Yeah, mate. Beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you again for coming on the podcast today, Hayden. Guys, we love you very much here. no silly question in the world. Ask questions to better yourself. As always, do what makes you happy, do what you know is right, and do what you need to do for yourself. See you later and get behind Hayden. Cheers, guys.
Love is lost.